To be quite frank, it hasn't been working out that well for us. Um, our business solely relies on face-to-face interactions. So, if we're unable to interact with the customer, we're unable to actually explain what it is we make and what it is we do. Because of the complexity of our menu, because we're offering something different that's not readily available in the country. Reading something on a takeaway menu doesn't quite translate to how the experience would be for a customer. Currently here at the Brewers Market, we've had to shut down for the past 4 weeks due to the restrictions. We still have our branch open at Checkers Grove Mall, but also because of the offices and the business in the Kleine Kuppe area that's been closed and shut down, we've noticed close to like a zero sale at that specific branch. It's not been working out for us at all.
What are you expecting from tomorrow's family meeting?
It's a nice way of phrasing it. Look, to be quite frank, I don't foresee the situation to be changing. Best case scenario is that they'll say that we have the same restrictions applied for the next 2 to 4 weeks. Worst case scenario I'm expecting is that we're going to go through a hard lockdown like we did last year in March. Unfortunately, if there is a hard lockdown, I'm going to be forced to shut down both operations, and I'm going to be forced to furlough my staff at the other branch as well.
So, if you had to have a conversation with the president today, what would you request he actually,
To be quite frank, I would like to find out from the president what exactly are their plans in place for the current pandemic. Because from last year till today, there's been no special dispensation for people in our industry, for entertainment industry, and I use that as an umbrella term, not just for restaurants, but for takeaways, bars, nightclubs, everything involving food, hospitality. There's been no kind of clear plan in place as to how we're going to be assisted during this time. There's been no mention of any kind of, how can I phrase it? There's been no subsidies put in place from the government to assist us with some of our monthly expenses. There's been no plan in place to assist us with the monthly expenses which we are due, or which we are forced to actually pay every month, regardless of the amount of income being brought in from the business. And that puts a major burden on small business owners like myself. I don't like to go to my staff and say, listen, I have to pay you for reduced hours that you work here, or I have to look at furloughing you and then take over the business myself. Because, I have a small business, but we employ 2 to 3 staff. And that's 2 to 3 staff that currently were unemployed prior to my business being open. So I like to look at it that, if the government could have a plan in place to actually explain how we are going to be assisted during this tough time, then 100% I would be all in for it. But at the moment, it seems more like let's just sit and pray and hope that the situation changes, rather than a proactive effort is being put in place.